Maggie Grindatti is here, South Florida with the Fillmore.
Yes.
This is so cool. This whole event tonight is just a really cool event. Tell us a little bit, because we got a little of everything, even some sumo wrestling going on. What's going on tonight?
Literally, like you said, a little bit of everything. It's a huge honor to be a part of SubStars, especially a lot of promotions come to Florida, but this one started here, you know, so that's what's really exciting. Is it's not only in our backyard, but from our backyard. Alex, the promoter, is actually one of Cyborg's students, so he trains with us. He's a teammate, so I couldn't be happier to be a part of his card and hopefully help promote it in any way that I can. Yeah, there's sumo, there's, you know, MMA guys here fighting, a lot of different things, and I think that's, you know, what promoters are trying to do is really trying to make their card unique and different. There's 3 girls matches too, which is a really big deal as well, so it's awesome.
Tell us about South Florida, tell us about what you're doing, tell us about what Cyborg is doing as well. The both of you are doing your thing. Yeah,
I mean, Cyborg, you know, he's created a mecca of jiu-jitsu within South Florida. He has Fight Sports, the HQ here, which is one of the top 10 gyms in the world right now. I'm a part of it in a sense as one of his black belts, and also doing the strength and conditioning program for him, myself, all of our professional athletes. So we're really just trying to create a place for anyone to come. You know, we have guys from other schools doing camps with us. We had, you know, even people that we fight training with us sometimes too, because that's, you know, what we're always trying to promote, and what Cyborg is always trying to promote is just like jiu-jitsu is for everybody, and we should be able to train with everybody and cross-train and this and that. So we really just open the doors here in South Florida at Fight Sports to anyone who's coming by or wants to come in.
Tell us where Fight Sports is located.
Yes, Fight Sports is located right on 61st and right off of Biscayne, not too far away from here actually. It's right outside the beach, so you miss all the crazy traffic, and it's not too far north either. It's in a huge warehouse. Upstairs, a acai bar. We have the strength and conditioning and lots of mats. So it's a really, really beautiful gym.
Maggie, give a little bit about your background.
Okay. I am actually making my black belt debut super fight tonight, so very excited about that. I got my black belt 2 months ago from Cyborg. I'm fighting Luiza Monteiro, who's a 7-time world champ. It's an honor to fight her, so thank you, Alex, for making that happen. Thank you for Luiza for accepting the fight. I was a Division I field hockey player before jiu-jitsu.
Field hockey?
Yes,
wait a second.
Field hockey. Yes, I didn't do any martial arts until I was 22 years old. So I'll hit 6 years in June.
That's inspirational in itself, because you know a lot of martial artists start when they're like 4 or 5 years old.
I would have, but of course everything happens for a reason, and we shouldn't change anything.
No, but in essence though, you're in field hockey, you're in that type of discipline, that type of sport. How did you get the transition to come over to
my
this?
uncle TJ Thompson is an old school MMA promoter, and he always wanted me fighting MMA, and then I ended up falling in love with jiu-jitsu, and once I did my first actually IBJJF jiu-jitsu tournament, I was like, this is what I want to do, and that was it, and I committed to it.
That's so cool though. And did you play field hockey in college?
Yes. Yes.
Where did you go to college?
I went to University of Pacific. It's a small Division I school in California. So I made it all 4 years, Division I athlete, so that was so far my biggest accomplishment in life.
College degree?
Yes.
What did you get your degree in?
Health, exercise, and sports sciences.
Fits in nicely with what you're doing now too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit.
Yeah, so that's my actual profession, is strength and conditioning for athletes. I do work with weight loss and that too, but most of my clients are professional jiu-jitsu athletes, or just people in the gym who compete as well. So that's my main focus.
And then you mentioned your uncle?
Yes.
Is he still involved in MMA?
He is, yeah. He's out in Hawaii, so whenever there's, you know, Bellator events or anything like that, he's out there helping those be promoted as well.
Is that something you think you will get involved in at some point?
You know, I have guys at the gym and stuff who want me to, but I'm a big person in like lifestyle, and I love the lifestyle of jiu-jitsu. I feel way more free. I'm not saying it's out of the picture, because we can never predict the future, but it's definitely not something I have planned. Yeah.
Tell us about Cyborg and some of his background, and just some of the just great things, awesome things that he's been able to do.
He's the most inspirational person to have on my side, not only because of what he's done, but what he continues to do. You know, he's 39 years old, turning 40 this year, and just in the last 6 months, he's won like some of the biggest tournaments there are still, you know, going against the top younger guys right now. So
in jiu-jitsu.
In jiu-jitsu, right? Yeah. So it's definitely a lead by example, and it's just, I have no words to describe him. He's somebody, as I mean, sure, people who have met him know, like, you have to feel his energy, feel his vibe. He's always on the mats, he's always in the gym, he's always helping everybody else from our team, other teams, anybody who needs it. He's always willing to lend a hand to, and he never stops fighting, and that's the most inspirational thing we can have.
When you were younger, what sports did you play? I
played softball, ice hockey, and field hockey. So super American.
But that's just so cool that you're able to do that and then parlay your athleticism into jiu-jitsu.
I never ever would have thought in a million years that this is what I would be doing, yeah.
What was the transition like at first, doing that? And was it in California where you first started that?
No, it was Hawaii, actually. Hawaii is where I first started, yes. The transition, again, I'm definitely an athlete, and my athleticism is definitely my biggest talent. And so anything I do, if I take enough time in it, I can tend to get good at it. So it wasn't weird when I started, and I actually like the individual sport. You know, I've always been on a team sport where you have to rely on other people. So I think my fast progression in jiu-jitsu is because I'm the only person who's responsible for what happens out there. You know, me and my opponent, of course, but there's no one I can blame if I lose, you know?
How good was your field hockey team in college?
My field hockey team was, we were actually like on the up. I got recruited to schools on the East Coast,
which is huge for field hockey.
Yes, but it was cold, and I didn't, like, there's no professional field hockey except for the Olympics, you know. So I was like, you know what? Let's go warm, let's go to a school. It was a sports science school, you know, so that was like the biggest thing for me was my education. But in the past couple of years, the team has like been killing it, like national champions and stuff. So I came from a really good school, and I'm very proud of that for sure.
Did you have aspirations of either field hockey or ice hockey with the Olympics?
I actually never did, no. I was always an athlete, and I knew that, but I knew, okay, I'm super American, you know, so college, and then you get a job, and that's it. And then once I stopped competing, I was like, okay, this is weird. So when my uncle was like, okay, come to Hawaii, let's do MMA, I was like, I have to, you know? And even my mom comes to all the events because she's been watching me since I was 4. So if she doesn't have a schedule of things to watch, she doesn't know what to do. And I've realized I'm the same. Like, jiu-jitsu is not my profession, you know, I make money off of my profession, but I do jiu-jitsu because I have to compete, you know, I need to compete.
Where did you grow up?
Maine. I'm originally from Maine, yes.
Wow, you went from Maine, California, Hawaii, now to Miami and all.
I was in Vegas too for a couple months training under Robert Drysdale. That was when I knew I needed to leave Hawaii because I was traveling too much. I moved to Vegas and trained with Robert until I met Cyborg.
And then came down to South Florida. He was here in South Florida. The climate.
Yes.
You spent all that time in Maine, snow, everything like that. Just so much more acclimated to California, Hawaii, Miami, South Florida.
You know, like California still had its seasons. Hawaii was tropical, Miami's hot. You know, I literally just got warmer, and I will never go back to the cold.
Yeah, you like
yes,
theory and all
love
like this.
I believe sun is like the best drug on earth.
And then I want to talk jiu-jitsu, mixed martial arts, as we discussed. Why do you think this area in particular, there are so many great athletes here when it comes to MMA, when it comes to jiu-jitsu, when it comes to karate, any martial arts. Can you think about why this area is just so good when it comes to something like that?
One thing is, like, I'm the minority here, you know? And like, so when you think Brazilian jiu-jitsu, you think Brazilians. Like, our school, most day, it's all Portuguese. You know, so it's a really easy transition, I think, for Brazilians. And Brazilians are fighters, you know, whether it's MMA, karate, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, they come here for the opportunity, you know, so I think that's why a lot of that has been brought here. And Miami, it's just such an open like cultural place that everyone feels very comfortable here, you know, and of traveling too. That's the other thing. Like with jiu-jitsu and MMA, you never know where you're going to go to fight. So I think Miami's a really good hub to be able to go all over the world.
And some of the athletes that are there at the training facility, and you mentioned the training facility name.
Yes, Fight Sports.
At Fight Sports, talking from around the world.
Yes.
Who are some of the names that would resonate too,
Well,
if you can mention some of them?
We focus mainly on jiu-jitsu, you know, so we have Cyborg, who is there, 2 of our brown belts, Roosevelt Souza, who's fighting tonight, and also Andre Porfilio. They are both are ranked #1 at brown belt. We have a lot of like old school guys in the MMA too, like Jay-Z and Yuri, who train like the NoGi with us, and now we're doing more jiu-jitsu as well. We have Wagner Rocha, who's an affiliate. He has his own school, but he's with us, fighting tonight twice a week at least.
And his daughter fought tonight as well.
And his daughter fought in one as well. Yeah, we're always cross-training together. And then we have, you know, UFC guys coming in all the time for jiu-jitsu, for the NoGi as well too, because Cyborg, you know, he's built that name and people want to come, and everybody's welcome.
All right, so Cyborg is Cyborg. Maggie,
Yes.
do you have a name?
No, I'm just Maggie Grindatti. Like, that's my name. I mean, Cyborg likes to refer to me as a redneck, but that's not really a good fighting name. And I have all my teeth and stuff, so it's not a good name.
Social media for you,
Yes.
all as if that is something for fans or people interested, and also for the training facility as well.
Yes. Okay. So mine is going to be Maggie Grindatti for Instagram. And Fight Sports is going to be Fight Sports Miami, and that's it. Yeah.
And what did your family think too? Because that's such a different. I should ask this because you're going from team sports, like you mentioned, and it's field hockey and ice hockey and things like that.
Yeah.
And now you're going to individual sport. Were they like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen or no?
Well, because of my uncle, and especially my mom. My mom is really close with my uncle, so she's always been very familiar with the MMA scene and everything. And my family is just really supportive. Like, I think I could be like, oh, I robbed a bank, we're rich. And they'll be like, whoa, okay, like, let's figure this out, you know? Like, they're super supportive, you know? So they're always going to have my back.
Where do we hide the money?
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, let's figure it out. So since day one, they've been totally fine with it. And my mom, like I said, my mom is at every event, every tournament. And now my other family is really getting into, like, watching the pay-per-view, watching the Flow Grappling, texting me how my fight went. Because the more I got into it, the more they get into it. I have an amazing, amazing family. Mine and Cyborg's both are like, they don't speak the same language, but they're always Google translating each other, and it's really cool.
Goals for you?
Goals. Oh my goodness. I never really think about my goals, actually. I'm kind of somebody that just, like, if I want to do something, I'm going to do it, you know? I'm not really somebody who writes them down. I just want to, my one goal always is just to be consistent, you know? That doesn't necessarily mean winning. That just means putting in work to be better in my jiu-jitsu, better in my work, better with the gym, better with my athletes. So just, my goal is always just to be consistent.
And Maggie, we'll wrap it up with this, and thank you so much, by the way.
Of course, thank you.
So California,
Yes.
Hawaii, South Florida.
Yes.
What is it like, especially in Hawaii? Because we obviously were here, so we know about South Florida, California. But as far as Hawaii goes, as far as jiu-jitsu and MMA and the community out there, what is it? What is it like there?
They actually have a really, really big MMA community. The MMA out there is amazing. I trained with Egan Inoue, who's an old school MMA fighter. He was a jiu-jitsu and still does compete jiu-jitsu too. So that's where I trained my sport jiu-jitsu, is under Egan Inoue, and one of the
Did you hurt a lot
there.
afterwards?
Huh?
Did you hurt a lot afterwards with the old school training, or you were okay?
Yeah, no, Hawaii is definitely old school training. I definitely had to take my beatings, but again, like, and same with my uncle, like, I mentally don't break very easily, you know, and I have the old school training to thank for that.
Maggie, thank you so much.
Of course, thank you guys.